Hi and welcome to this week's video. I deal with rudder hinge nuts. I'm using T-nuts rather than the standard nylock nuts sticking out the side. I'm making them flush, and hopefully I'll show you through my thoughts for the wing tanks and fitting those in the upper wings. So let's see how I get on with it. Okay, so I've just cut back into the surface here of the plywood to accept this style of T-nut, which will fit into there flush. So I will glue that in with T88, and that is my nuts for the rudder. So I've got flush on this side. The other side I'm going to have slightly domed bolt. M4 is what I'm using. Just suits just perfectly for the hinge size, I think. Well, there's the final finished product. The T-nuts bonded in, so nice and flush with the surface, and ready to go. And I've just put another quick coat of varnish over the top. This is now ready for just the final sanding to get rid of any of the excess varnish where it's tried to do its own thing, because this is all brush painted, ready for covering, which will happen at some stage in the future. So I'm happy everything is all protected now. Okay, so we have the fuel tank. Lovely jubbly, nicely made, with these little spots here where they had it clico together, because they've actually bent the metal in rather than doing butt welding, which saves an awful lot of distortion on the tank. Great. Slight problem, I have got two left-hand tanks. Both of them have got the outlet on this side, so I'm going to have to move one over to the other side. But spoken to Dave, he's sorting me out with bits for that, to get that sorted. I've got to say, he was extremely apologetic about it, and I think it's all the upheaval they've got in the company at the moment, reorganising things, which has led to one or two slight issues. Anyway, on to the actual plan itself. I don't know how well this shows up, but I've drawn in here where the compression member is going to go to the top of the lower spar capping piece. That's normally I'd go to the bottom, but we're not losing a great deal, and I'm going to be adding one extra lower compression member. So I've drawn that. I've also drawn in the position for a piece of 1/8 inch plywood, which is going to be my fuel tank floor, the fuel tank bay floor I should say, and then allowing for the tank to be lifted sort of 3/16, so I can put in 1/4 inch foam and have it compressed by about that much. The fuel tank will sit something like that, with a little bit of foam at the front, a little bit of foam at the back to stop it from rattling up against the spar itself. And this allows me to design my rib section, which is going to have ply inserted into the rib capping pieces, because I can't have any of the geodetic because the fuel tank's in the way. So it'll go along the bottom, glue onto the floor of the tank bay, or the tank bay floor glue onto it, whichever way you like to look at it. And along the top here I've got to make an allowance for a little bit of foam, which I'm just going to put along the bottom edge of the rib, and also the cutouts for the tank straps to go across. I'll have to work that bit out for the rib, but that's minor piece of calculation to do. And I can now start drawing up my modified rib, which will have a cutout over the top of the spar. It'll be cut at both ends. Initially it'll be fitted in one piece, then I'll cut it, remove that top section, make up the tank bay, put it all back together again. Another area which I'm going to have to do a little bit of a sort of opening out for is an area about there somewhere to allow for the geodetic, because there will be geodetic going across the top of this rib but not along the bottom. Let me take you over to the plan view. This is a bit that Nick found quite funny. He's got half scale plans for his 505 wings, and I've just got a section. This is my plan view for the top wing, which is about 14 inches or so. It's about 1/6 scale. Anyway, my rough sketch drawing here of my plan of action. This sort of shaded area going across is where the fuel tank is, with the fuel tank filler just offset to one side of that rib, so I can keep the rib spacing all nice and even going across. The compression member here will be moved out. From my calculations, it's going to be quite close to, if in its original position, to the actual tang that holds the wing into position, and trying to glue it into the ply, but it's not. So I'm just going to move it across, and moving it across, actually we're only moving it there about an inch. That's all we're moving it across, about an inch. Won't really affect the strength at all, because we're adding another compression member here, just the lower one though. So this was being moved across, we've got one here, and then there'll be a cover piece going up to go around the filler neck and things like that. These compression members, the lower ones, will have a piece added on top, faired in, which will have the screw mountings for me to mount the straps going across. I haven't worked out exactly the position, but yeah, they'll go across in each of these sort of areas here, so I can actually screw the straps down to, the tank down with the straps, and then I can put the top of the rib on, and then that will all be tied in position with this cap filler area, sort of capping piece going across. Now, looking at the plans, it's got a compression member here, 1, 2, third bay out, compression member there, exactly the same as it is on the lower wing, and then it's got a compression member there, and another compression member there. I'm looking at this, I think they've changed their mind about this compression member. This one would make sense. Okay, it's a little bit closer, but it's just inboard of the wing attach metalwork, the struts, interplane strut area, so it needs to have one fairly close to that. That would be right in amongst the metalwork and woodwork, so I think that's why they decided to add this one. This one, it's very, very close and isn't adding anything really to our strength requirements there. No, don't need twice as many in this area, don't need that much. We don't need that. That's added weight and not doing anything really substantial. Out there it would be doing something constructive, but again that's a 50-50 as to whether we actually need it there, but we definitely don't need that one. I've done the torsional load checks and bits and pieces, and that is not doing any good. It's too close to the interplane strut section for it to be doing anything extra over this one here. So moving it out would do a little bit for the tip, but we're talking about adding very, very little, especially with the rib doubler section here, which acts almost the same as a compression member in its own right, helping to stabilize the spar tips. So I'm looking at omitting that one. That's my choice. You build your aircraft, you can do it exactly according to the plan. That's what I would recommend. It's just me, I'm trying to save weight where it's not needed, and I don't think it's needed there, so I'm going to take the risk and I'm taking that one out. Just talked about the compression member bit. I just thought, how about some people might not realise why we've actually got those pieces in and what they do. With our wing we've got geodetic going across. Geodetic is very good at taking tension loads, pulling loads, but not so good in compression. And what the compression members do is, imagine this is a spar web. As you put a wing flex into it, you can sort of see it's trying to twist itself out of position. What the compression members do is they lock it so that rather than it being able to bow inwards, it's held in position so it can't bow inwards, and the geodetic will stop it from bowing outwards. So that's why we need the compression members. That's what they do. And with the rib doublers on the tip ribs and things like that, that already adds that little bit of strength to help stop that the tip of the spar web and that trying to twist inwards, because it gives it stability in that format. The compression members are doing the work between the two extents of the wing, because both the root and the wing tip itself have got that extra stiffness, so it's doing the work for the bits in between where you're most likely to get that bowing trying to happen. Hopefully that explains why we have the compression members. Okay, so that's it for this week. We've managed to get the compass fixed, the slip ball fixed, so that's a big saving. Some nice second-hand instruments, not primary, so I don't worry about them. If they do fail, I can still make it back to the field, I hope. And we've got the fuel tanks, thanks to Nick, who had them come out in his shipment for his 505, which he seems to be really looking forward to getting cracking on, so hopefully he will make a start on that. And you never know, we might get some pictures and things from him in the future. I've sorted out the plan for my specialist ribs for the tank area and how I'm going to fit the tank. I've just got to make up the bits and modify the jig, so next week we can hopefully make a start on the top wings. We can hope! Come on then, let's see what we can do. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. You can subscribe or even hit the little bell notification for future videos. Any comments would be appreciated, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, go fly and feel the sky.